Oh, the recording just started. They're not going to have any context for that.
I hit it. I can always like edit stuff out.
But, I see. We're one of those editing podcasts. Okay. Now we're doing that.
That's the thing is I don't even really have to do any editing because it's not like Anchor. Now Spotify podcasting or whatever it's called now.
Yeah, Spotify for podcasters, I think is what it's called now.
I don't even have to do where it's like, oh, we hit an hour. All right, we got to close out. Then we'll start a new recording.
Yeah, we could just keep this baby rolling.
Yeah, I only have to do that as if there's like connection issues. But like of the times I've used StreamYard and like other people's YouTube stuff, I've never had an issue with StreamYard. So
whenever I've come through on Manny's streams, like I never have the connection issues on those that I had with Anchor.
Yeah. So StreamYard, free advertising right there.
Yeah. StreamYard
for the
is preferable.
Yeah. For the couple of people listening, StreamYard, hey, I could have just sold those couple of people on your product. So
hire us.
Yeah.
Hire us to write for your marketing, which by the way, I can already kind of tell. Hang on, I'm making so much noise. Anyway, I can already kind of tell just from the fact that you're kind of the one running the show now, this is probably going to do better, like numbers wise, than our previous one for a couple of reasons. One, you've already got the bigger established audience. And
it's so. That's the thing is like, if it was like, honestly, 2 years ago, I'd say yes. The issue is 2 years ago, algorithm wise, like Facebook, Instagram, I was doing great. I didn't have a TikTok at that time.
Yeah.
But Facebook and Instagram was like doing great in terms of engagement and stuff. What's weird is I definitely have seen this the past 6 months to a year. Instagram used to be the thing that popped off for me. Now it's like, holy crap, like it's not getting out to anyone. Oof. It's very frustrating. The plus side with it is Instagram has a thing they came out with like less than a year ago called a broadcast channel.
Yeah.
Which is basically people that follow that broadcast channel. You could post something in that broadcast channel, which I just realized I haven't done that in like a month or two. I need to use that more.
Yeah.
The plus side with that is it comes in as like an Instagram message for them. So they're notified of it and they can click on it and see it. Whereas like most of the people that follow me on Instagram who were engaged with it a couple years ago now like don't see my stuff anymore. And I've had a couple people message me over the past year really be like, oh crap, like they didn't mean it in a mean way. They were just like, I just rediscovered your stuff. Instagram hasn't been showing me any of your stuff. And I just remembered and just rediscovered your stuff. So it's frustrating how the algorithm has changed to where like I don't care, honestly. I mean, I guess everyone does to some degree if you have like a business. Yeah. But overall, I don't care about likes and stuff like that. But that is a good way to show you how far it's getting out there.
Yeah.
Because 2 years ago, it was 4 to 5 times the amount it is now.
That actually kind of segues into my second point about why I think this might do better. You are much better at marketing than I am.
The thing is, I think I like inventive marketing, like some of the stuff I've tried because I like creating. So whenever it's like the weird advertisements, when it's weird advertisements with like HypnoRay and stuff, like yes, it's marketing, but I also see it as like I'm having fun because it's like, oh, I'm creating something. I like that stuff. The thing is, like, even that sort of stuff is just like, it's 50-50. It's up in the air whether it will reach anyone or not. But ultimately, the thing that like, not entirely say like gets me through it or could get other people through it is like, focus on if you like what you're putting out there in terms of marketing or whatever. And then if other people finally see it good. If not, you can at least say like, oh, like I enjoyed doing this. Like this wasn't entirely marketing, but on TikTok, I rediscovered within the past few months the first book I ever published, which I was 10 years old. I rediscover it every few years. I forget about it, like it gets locked away in my mind, and then I am digging through my closet and find it. And I was like, oh, like I'll make like a little TikTok series, just kind of going through a couple pages at a time.
Yeah.
And that was ultimately for me because I enjoyed it. So yeah, it's one of those things where like if other people like it, good. And at the end of the day, something like Dismay Comics, it is a business, but it's not my like full-time job. It's not even like my partial income.
Well, I'll say this much. When I say you're better at marketing, I mean you have done it. You've put some effort into actually marketing something. The thing is, the one advertisement for store brand comics that exists, I didn't even do. I didn't have anything to do with that. You made that.
Oh yeah.
Other than a couple of like notes and input and like funny ideas for what the premise of the ad was going to be, I didn't have I wasn't really a part of making that.
That was
you and Helen.
I got to remember to like it can stay exactly the same. That page can stay exactly the same. I might just change the little logo in the pod. But I just thought about that.
Our logos are the same basic shape.
Yeah, that was a freak accident, but it worked out perfectly. Because the thumbnails for this for YouTube as well as what will be on Spotify, it's literally the thumbnail where our little avatars are here. It's that whole thumbnail. I just changed it a little bit. Like all I did was change the store brand comics. I just placed like a Dismay Comics logo with like a golden emblem around it. So it worked out perfectly. It was a freak accident.
You know the store brand comics YouTube channel that you started for these?
Yeah.
You can probably just change the name of that to Dismay Comics, make that the official Dismay Comics YouTube channel, and just keep posting to the same one.
I could just post it to both. I did create a Dismay Comics YouTube channel. That's the thing is before I reached out to you about starting the podcast back up, and before I asked you like, hey, like what specific days work, I wanted to like nail down everything. Like I wanted to create a Spotify. I wanted to create YouTube thing. I wanted to have all that ready to go.
Yeah.
As well as I wanted to go through StreamYard and make sure all that was good to go. Then I reached out to you about the date. So there is a Dismay Comics. Yeah. Everyone, welcome. This is the podcast. If you've never been before, this is the first time of Dismay Comics podcast, but this is, if any of you are carrying over, it's from Store Brand Comics. This is Store Brand Comics Chapter 2, basically. That's Dismay Comics podcast. This is the exact same podcast.
Yeah, except now Brandon is the one running the technical side of the show, which that's a huge burden off of me.
What Tio, if you're on YouTube, you see this. What Tio's his little thing under his name, the fun one, that is true now. He's I have to be Mr. Manager over here, which there's nothing to manage. But yeah.
Oh no, it's Mr. Manager. Who told him we were doing this? Who told Mr. Manager about this? Was he a part of the group email? Was Mr. Manager CC'd on this?
He was. He's actually backstage listening to all of this. He's taking notes.
Great. Now everything we say and do can be held against us.
Hold on. Let me actually see something. Let me see. That dude. Oh, that is so cool. Okay, I wanted to test something. I didn't even test this before. If I hit B on the keyboard, it marks something for me. So if there's something that like I want to mark, like, oh, like I could make a short out of it, like a short clip. I could mark it.
Oh yeah, you can,
because YouTube Shorts are big.
Yeah, I was gonna say YouTube Shorts. You could spread it around. Click clack. You could. You could film a video of a teenage girl doing a dance that looks like every single other dance that's done on TikTok set to one of our
Oh,
podcast clips.
that's true. Yeah, she's doing like the Renegade. That's like over 2 years old. I don't know
I
if
have
you
no
know the
idea
Renegade.
what any of that is. I don't
Well,
even know what that means.
she could be doing the Renegade to us like talking right now, and somehow it works with the rhythm of our speech.
Is,
Somehow,
is it anything? Is it anything like flossing? Is she flossing?
no. flossing
Is she dabbing?
flossing's more innocent. Renegade's not like a
More
bad
innocent? What
dance.
the hell?
Flossing I say is like it's like Y7. Flossing's like Y7.
Okay.
Renegade's like hmm.
What
I
does the
have to
renegade
jump in.
entail?
Renegade, I have to jump into a different rating system. Renegade's like E10 plus. Um,
You just went from the TV rating system to the ESRB.
yeah, because I couldn't say PG-13. I don't think you have to be a teenager to do the Renegade. I don't think there's any like butt shaking or anything in the Renegade.
Yeah. Well,
I
then,
don't remember.
in the ESRB, you know what rating precedes E10 plus? E.
Is it not T?
E. No, precedes
Oh, okay. Yeah,
E for
yeah,
everyone.
Everyone.
Everyone in
Yeah,
general. So
yeah,
flossing is rated E, is what you're saying.
yeah. There we go. Yeah. Almost everyone. Yeah, I could see like a toddler flossing. Yeah, flossing's rated E for everyone.
So wait, are you rating this according to like complexity of the movements or the maturity of the movements?
It started out as the maturity of the movements, but now I'm thinking about like if someone can actually do it.
So now you're rating it based on the mechanical complexity of the dance.
I'm going to go with both. Okay, I'll go with both.
So are they both rated E10 plus then, just because of the combined?
So flossing, if I'm doing both scales, I think it still rates as E, because I could see a toddler flossing as well as. I mean, like, yeah. As well, I mean, it's not going to be great flossing, but I could identify it as flossing. It might not be great, but I could identify it. So I could see a toddler doing that, and it's not like inappropriate.
Yeah. Because it's not even like a thrusting of the hips; it's just a moving of them.
Yeah.
With
dang,
flossing.
I think there is some thrusting with the Renegade.
I have to look this dance up. It's not going to put me on a list if I look it up, is it?
Hopefully not.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I'll do it later.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just watching it while talking to you. No, I don't remember. But yeah, for those listening, this is Store Brand Comics Chapter 2, otherwise known as Dismay Comics Podcast, where if you haven't listened to Store Brand Comics before, a lot of times it's us shooting the breeze, sometimes us doing impromptu pitches. And as this podcast goes on, future episodes, we might dedicate episodes to pitches and stuff.
Yeah.
Like we did in the past.
I figured this one's probably going to have a somewhat looser format.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's the thing is
which is really saying something, because Store Brand Comics is about as tight as a diarrhea fit. So
well, I will say for those listening, and if any of you are coming back from Store Brand Comics, one, it's been about a year since you've seen an upload. So update wise, I'd say why it might be a little bit looser is like me and Tio, life has been busy with us the past year.
Things have been happening.
Yeah, things have been happening with work and different stuff. Things have been going good, but there have been changes in life.
Yeah, like just like a basic rundown of how the year has gone, at least from my perspective. I don't have all of Brandon's life details. But a brief rundown from my side of things is starting a new job, finally moving out of my parents' place. I started college. I'm getting my creative writing degree. And me and Brandon have started going to conventions to sell physical copies of Dismay comic books,
Yes. Yeah,
which
it's
is
been
something we're
fun.
continuing this year, I believe, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I didn't even intend for it to be this way, but it'll probably be about the same number we did last year. I think last year we did 6 or 7.
Yeah,
This year will probably be that much. I was expecting like me to cut that in half,
yeah,
but some opportunities have come up to where it's like, oh, like the biggest thing 2023 with me and Tio doing conventions was just kind of like dipping our toes in the water to see how it is, because that
yeah,
is it's not, I wouldn't say it's like the biggest part of being an indie creator, but it is a part that you do have to do some in terms of getting the name out there of whatever your book or publishing name or whatever it may be. It plays a role in it. And yeah, it was just kind of seeing how things were. I'd say it was 50-50. And like ultimately I think every con we went to was a positive, at least for me.
we
Like
learned something at all of them.
I was gonna say, yeah, at every con we learned something, if not multiple things at each one. Even as the year went on, like the last half of the year, you're still learning a bunch of stuff. So that was like the biggest benefit, as well as I'd say over half, maybe 3/4 of them, in terms of when you get to the brass tacks of it, like the profitability or making your money back. Over half of them, maybe 3/4 of them, I made the money back. And for those like wondering like what does that mean? Means like table cost made back, uh, uh, hotel cost if there was a hotel cost made that back,
Yeah,
um, and and gas costs, uh, as well as food. But I never, I probably should count that into it, but I never really count food into it. But
yeah.
with all the factors, at
Food's
least
something that you
half
got to
of
do
them.
every day, so it's like it doesn't make
Exactly. Yeah.
sense to
Yeah.
incorporate it
That
constantly.
exactly. That's why I don't really incorporate it. It's like I'm going to eat anyway.
I was
So
gonna go to McDonald's today anyway.
exactly.
Well, like, why does it matter if it's in Louisiana or Florida?
Yeah. Yeah. But but yeah, at least half of them broke even, if not made a profit. So it's good there. Um, there might be some convention. Obviously, I can already say this one because this one already happened this year. Not doing Fan Expo in
Oh yeah, I
2024.
was receiving the
Um,
emails the whole time it was going on. I was
yeah,
like, yeah,
same.
that would have been really
Every
overwhelming right about now.
every like I don't know, every couple weeks they'd send me an email of like, hey, discounted hotel rate, discounted hotel rate. Here's the code for discounted hotel rate, and all this stuff. And I've talked about it before on other podcasts. I think we've talked about on, well, no, we didn't talk about on Store Brand Comics,
Yeah,
but on other podcasts as
did
well
we
as like
not?
on TikTok. Well, that was after.
Oh right. That's
Yeah,
after we
yeah,
start taking the break. Well,
yeah,
I
yeah.
think we talked about because I have like 4 recorded episodes that I haven't
Oh,
even
okay. It
edited
was, yeah,
from
that, oh, yeah, yeah. We
because
recorded till like February. Yeah.
for listeners, we did record a little bit last year, and then we never put anything out. We recorded some stuff that like really needed to like that like became outdated within a couple of weeks after we recorded it. Like like I should have edited those and got them out, but like
Yeah.
I couldn't find time. I was tired. I didn't care. It was like
No, it's understandable.
yeah.
Yeah, for
Um,
listeners, one of the episodes in terms of the time sensitive ones was the James Gunn DC EU announcements.
yeah.
So after a week, that one is completely dated.
Yeah. Yeah, like if I were to put that one on, the Flash hadn't even come out yet. I don't think the Flash wasn't in theaters yet.
Yeah, yeah.
So like that one is completely like if I were to put that out now, people would be like, "Is there? Like, nobody would listen firstly, but secondly, like
Yeah.
that would be a what's going on here sort of.
If you did listen, I guess like the only interest that could happen is like, oh, like how wrong were they? Or like, well, no, that's DCU. I was thinking about whenever we were talking about there's some episode, maybe it was before we took a break. There's an episode where we talked about the upcoming DC stuff for 2023.
Yeah.
I feel like.
For 2023? I feel like we did talk about it a little bit, but
oh yeah, it was probably just a part of some random episode.
Yeah, it was. I think it was mostly about like, here's all the stuff James Gunn announced. Which, as far as we know, all of that's still going through. We just won't see any of it until next year at the earliest.
Yeah. Which I mean, like,
it's they got to put it together, and also like take your time. People need a breather from everything. Like, what's really shocking me right now, and I gotta catch up on my Marvel stuff, but I'm really surprised how positively Echo is being received.
Yeah,
especially since that was one of the Marvel things that received a preemptive dogpile.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that they put it all out at once.
I'm happy about that personally.
Yeah,
like I like weekly release formats typically, but I'm happy that for something like this, they just put it all out in one go.
Well, if it's that short, you might as well. It's 5 episodes. You might as well just put it all out at once. Because most streaming services, what they'll do is they usually don't put like the first episode out. Usually it's like 2 or 3 episodes they'll put out. And then from there, it's weekly. So if you did that with this, it's like, oh, what's the point? Like we put out over half the show the first day.
Yeah. You know what release model I really like? The way that Netflix released the first season of Arcane, which I really hope they repeat this year when the second season comes out, is Arcane seasons are only 9 episodes a piece. So what they did was they made a 3-week event out of it, releasing 3 episodes a week every Friday.
Oh, that's cool.
For like 3 weeks in like the November of 2021, I think it was. So
I kind of like that because I feel like when it comes to the weekly thing, a big part of like the push of that is like the online discussion, not just online discussion in terms of Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff, but like people talking about it on podcast or posting about videos and stuff like that. I feel like sometimes when it's not saying Arcane, but other shows, when it's a weekly show, episodes being put out each week, sometimes like they're running thin of what to talk about in those talk shows. Yeah. Because sometimes you have an episode where it's like not a lot happened. It was a good episode, sure. You could say it's a good episode, but not a lot happened in the episode. Whereas if you have 3 episodes, there's a ton to talk about there.
Exactly. Like 3 episodes a week, like Arcane gives you an hour and a half every week when it comes out.
Yeah.
So, and sure, it only goes for 3 weeks, but there's a lot to talk about like between things. And the thing is, like, Arcane's first season also benefited from the fact that it had a very blatant 3-act structure. And then like each act had its own miniature 3-act structure, which is how the episodes were divided. So like it's really interesting how Arcane is structured as a story, because you've got every 3 episodes you can feel the first episode of a set is settling you into the way things are. The second episode does some interesting stuff, fleshing out the world and the way it is presently, and then the third episode presents the big twist that changes things now that you've gotten used to how it works.
Right.
And so like, and obviously the 9th episode was the big finale of the story, and oh my god, I've been waiting 3 years, dude. Well, almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years this November, which is when the next Arcane season comes out. But like, I am so ready for what happens next. Like, how many people died in that explosion?
Yeah.
Like, what does it mean that Jinx chose to be Jinx instead of Powder? Arcane spoilers, by the way. You've had 2 years to watch it.
Yeah.
Everybody. But yeah, like what does that mean? Are Vi and Caitlyn finally gonna kiss?
Yeah, that's what. So it came out middle or late 2021.
Very late 2021, November.
Oh, okay.
So it'll
So
be
so
like
still,
pretty much 3 years on the dot when the next season comes out.
I gotcha. So it was still pandemic time.
It was,
Towards
and it
the
was
end.
one of the most interesting things to occupy because like 2021 was a great year for adult oriented animation in general.
Yeah,
Because at the beginning of it, you had Invincible.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Towards the middle of it, you got Inside Job, which got unfortunately canceled.
Mm.
And then right at the end, there's Arcane.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, and I know Inside Job probably flew under a lot of people's radars, but I really like that show.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Arcane, like for adult animation in 2021, I feel like Arcane was the first show to kind of challenge Invincible for the title of best adult cartoon of that year.
I was gonna say, yeah, for that year, in terms of, I mean, the plus side with Invincible is they had memes. They had a couple of big memes that went around.
Yeah,
That what I'm saying is like that helped like the
memes that are still being used.
yeah, like that helped like the cultural relevance to where if you're not even watching Invincible, you know about it. But yeah, I remember Arcane was big, even though I didn't watch it. Like I saw it everywhere. Like not just talking with you, but like I just saw it everywhere.
Yeah, and one of the best things about it too is that like it's also a part of this new wave of video game adaptations that are actually really good.
Mm.
Like
Yeah,
Arcane, like I feel like Castlevania was the first video game adaptation that was really like this is great.
yeah, yeah,
But Arcane is the first one where it's like this is fantastic.
yeah. Wasn't there? I don't
Because
know
like
if it was.
it took a world that doesn't have a great deal of established lore anyway, and so they had to add a ton. Well, no, it has lore. It never had a narrative. So because League of Legends has a ton of lore behind it, but like there's no story because it's a
Right,
MOBA.
right.
So like they took bits and pieces of the existing lore, picked some of the most popular and interesting characters from that world, and then made a very interesting story around them. Like, there's no denying that Jinx is the face of League of Legends. So centering the plot of the first season around her was just a natural choice.
Yeah, yeah. I was about to say, I was trying to think. I was like, wasn't there other good video game stuff from 2023 that turned into shows or movies? Then I remember, oh yeah, The Last of Us. Like that
Yeah, The
blew up
Last
like
of Us,
crazy. I
which
completely forgot about that.
like the Last of Us, I think should be held as the new gold standard for what a video game adaptation
Yeah.
is like. Like,
Yeah.
keep all of the things from the game that would make it a movie, and then just take all the gameplay out.
Yeah.
Like that's all you gotta do.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just keep the parts that keep it exciting. Like obviously there's got to be action if it's based on an action game, but like don't like obviously you can't just have 30 minutes of wordless shooting gallery stuff
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the middle of a show or movie. But like The Last of Us did it perfectly.
Yeah.
Like now I do think it was a little like it's not the most accurate adaptation. Like for example, in the last episode, Joel didn't die a million times and then consider taking the game back for a refund. But you know, they had to take some liberties. They only had so much time.
Yeah.
Like oh my gosh, the way that he just like goes through that hospital in that final episode of the show, I'm just like, it was not remotely that easy for me. when I played it, I remember dying like 1,000 times to the same guys.
You're not the true Joel though. Pedro Pascal's the true Joel.
Pedro Pascal's the one true Joel.
Yeah.
You know what I would love to see? You know what I think would be a super interesting way? Because I think they're planning on splitting the second game into multiple seasons for the show as far as adapting it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I would like to see. Instead of doing what they did with the first game and essentially adapting it beat for beat, what they should do is adapt the second game chronologically because there's a lot of flashback sequences in the second game. So they should adapt it chronologically. So season 2 is all the flashbacks that lead up to, season 3, which would basically be the present day story of The Last of Us Part 2. And then, like, as far as the parallel narratives for Ellie and Abby, it would be more interesting to see that play out side by side rather than one after the other.
Yeah, because I think, I never even played it, but I remember the biggest complaint was, like, big thing happened at close to the beginning of game, and then shortly after you switch into character that did big bad thing. Yeah. And a lot of people were like, I don't want this. I don't want to play this character.
I genuinely think had they changed the order of events in the game, people wouldn't have had such a negative reaction to Abby.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Then again, maybe not. People are pretty childish, and they're like, Joel's my dad. And it's like, whatever.
But I do get that. Like, I do get, like, at least that initial reaction of, like, this thing happened to these characters I loved, and now I'm playing the person who caused this pain. And I barely know this person. That's also another thing, is like, like you were saying, if you got to know them before what would happen, like, I think it'd be completely different.
I think it probably would have actually. There we go. It took, when did The Last of Us Part 2 come out? 2020, 2021?
Yeah.
Well, it took about 3 years, but I found a criticism for that game.
Okay.
That I think is actually valid. The order of the narrative should have been altered. And probably nothing else about it, because there's really not that much wrong with the story in The Last of Us Part 2. People just like to whine about things that don't matter.
Well, even, like, there were a bunch of people that whined about it, but even the people that loved it, one thing I did see online back then was some of them saying, like, they were okay with the order, but they even commented back then that, like, had the order of events changed, like, you could still have everything happen, but it happens not in the order that it is.
Yeah.
Like, the people that were whining, there would be less of them.
Yeah. Like, basically, first act, all the flashback stuff for both Ellie and Abby.
Mm-hmm.
Second act, the bad thing, and then the rivalry between the two, but played out in parallel rather than one after the other. Third act, leave it as it is. Like, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Because goodness gracious, was that, like, last part of the game unexpectedly long. I wasn't expecting it to go on that long, and it was basically just like a 40-minute cutscene anyway. They just made you hold the they just made you hold the left stick forward for most of it.
Yeah. No, but thinking about it, it was. I watched TV this year. Obviously, we all watch TV, but like, it was.
The TV's a part of the family.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, whenever I moved to my new place, that was the number one thing, other than, like, stuff I actually needed. I bought the stuff I actually needed. And then in terms of stuff that, like, I wanted, but to me, it was a need, I bought a 65-inch, like, good TV, not like one of the cheap it was cheap for a 65-inch TV, but it wasn't like crappy quality 65-inch in terms of the screen brightness and all that stuff. I bought that for my living room, and I do not regret it at all. Like, I absolutely love it. It's an in-home movie theater for me, something I've wanted since I was a kid. Like, I love it.
I have no idea what breed my TV is, other than that it's an LG. But other than that,
like,
I don't know what size it is. I couldn't even eyeball it from here. It's probably double digits at least.
Yeah.
In inches. I don't know. Mine's probably like I want to say maybe like a 60-inch or something. I don't know. It's hard to eyeball it. It's sitting right in front of me.
I see mine like 10 yards away because It's an open floor plan for the kitchen, dining room, and living room because it's an apartment. It's not.
Mine's maybe 2.5 yards from me. Let me see if I can see the size on it somewhere. Hang on. Nah, it doesn't look like it. Oh wait, there's a sticker on the other side.
Yeah, I like mine a good bit. I bought it from Best Buy because Best Buy, something I didn't know about before I bought like a nice big TV was one, don't lay it down. You can damage it.
Yeah.
What I mean is like the box itself. Like there's a reason why it's like standing up. Yeah, well, I didn't know that before going to Best Buy. Like they told me this type of stuff. I was like, oh, like I had no idea about this. Specifically for like bigger TVs. I think if you get like a 40-inch or lower, like I don't know if it's really a problem then. But yeah. So it was that, and they had mentioned like, oh, do you have like a truck or something to move it in? I was like, I've got my car, I've got my trunk, and my back seats will let down. They're like, it's going to be flat. I don't know if that's a good idea. I was like, oh, but then they said Best Buy does this. I don't know if any other department store does this. Best Buy will deliver it for free.
Oh,
yeah. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That was really awesome. So yeah, I bought the TV, signed up for them delivering it a couple days later, as well as Best Buy has like up to a 5-year warranty, I think.
Oh, okay.
The warranty on my TV was like, it was $120, but I completely see it as worth it because I just want this TV to last at least 5 years.
You know how often I just throw shoes about my apartment. You never know when one's going to be in the TV.
If this TV can last 5 years, that's all I want out of it. I mean, like, if it lasts longer, great. But, like, when it comes to a TV, yeah.
This TV is going to be the best man at your wedding. Just you wait.
Oh, I hope. It's giving me so much joy.
You only need it for 5 years. It's going to be here for 50.
By that point, I'm going to have to divorce it.
But no, you're not marrying the TV. The TV is going to be the best man at the wedding. Your wife isn't your best man.
She might be. I mean, I've got a big commitment with this TV. I got a 5-year warranty for this TV. That's a big commitment.
Wouldn't that just be like a power move amongst like your friend group? Or maybe it's the opposite of a power move. Like, yeah, I'm getting married, and my best man is my wife. That's like the opposite of the power move. Like she's making you do it. Never mind. That's a power move on her part.
I don't know. I feel like that's like. It seems like demeaning towards the wife. I see that as like obviously everyone has to be okay with it.
Yeah. I see that as a guy telling his friends that as soon as he's married, he's never seeing any of them again.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I'm getting married.
Yeah.
I don't have a life anymore. Just a wife.
I think that's at least a third of marriages. Just standard marriages. That's what they are. Not that there's
but like, you know, it's fine and healthy for couples to have friends outside of each other.
Oh, yeah. No, that's what I'm saying is like, I think it should be okay for people to like spend time outside of their spouse. Obviously, that's where most of your time is dedicated. But I've seen a lot of cases where it's like, no, like work and spouse, that's all of their time. Yeah, it's just me. That's sad.
Yeah.
If they love their spouse, good. I'm happy with them. But I don't know. Like,
yeah, like
yes.
I'm going to be totally honest with you. I would not ask a woman to marry me if I did not 100% believe that I wanted to spend most of my free time with her anyway.
Oh no, for sure. Yeah,
But
like the majority of my time would be.
I am never going to enjoy someone's company so much that I would never want to spend my free time with anybody else.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, like literally anyone. Like, because the person you marry, at least how it should be. I know some people don't marry this way. The person you marry should be, it's your best friend. Like female best friend. It's this is the person you're closest with. But like, yeah, like you were saying, majority of time, of course, you're going to spend time with them. Like that's the person that gets you the most. Should be your spouse. But even this being the greatest person you know, your spouse, you have to get like a break or a little tired of them every now and then. Like everyone, like I don't know, maybe this is saying something about me. Everyone in my life, I would not want to spend like every single day an hour with.
Oh yeah, I'm the same. Like there's not a single person I like so much that I would want to just never, not even for a second, be without them. I don't know. So maybe that'll change once I find someone I want to marry. I don't have the experience of like loving someone enough that I'm like, yeah, you're the one I'm hanging out with for the rest of my life. But
Yeah.
because to me that's my attitude towards marriage is like I'm finding a woman who it's like, yeah, I want to hang out with you for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that makes sense. But even then, like I have that attitude towards marriage as well. But even then, I don't want to spend every single hour, every single minute, I should say, with that person. There's like we both like to do stuff in terms of hobbies or whatever, and I hope like we both have similar hobbies. Doesn't have to be the same.
Yeah.
But similar hobbies to where we can both enjoy that stuff. But sometimes it's like, oh, I just want Brandon time with the buds or just Brandon time. Sometimes that's the thing. It's just like time by yourself.
Yeah. Boy, we really ran the gauntlet of classic like topics for this one. We talked about video games, we talked about TV, we did a little bit of real life discussion. It's we're getting back into it. This is the rhythm.
Yes.
We're feeling all we need now is like a prolonged character bit where we both just keep going back and forth, and that'll be like a 100% bona fide episode.
Yeah. That's what that whole marriage single talk thing was. Those Brandon the character, that was Tio the character.
I'm always a character. I'm never not a character.
Actually despise marriage. I'll destroy it.
Monogamy is not like the natural state for like people shouldn't be tying themselves down. It's like, dude, if you're like cool, you're not into monogamy. Like, don't try to convince me I shouldn't be either. Like, if you want to, like, if you want to go out and sow your wild oats, feel free. Don't judge me for just wanting one woman on the entire planet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because that's all I want. And you know what?
Yeah.
Having a bitch of a time getting it. Or getting her, I should say. Sorry. That's probably one of the reasons why.
Oh, that's thinking about it, like that's a update for me for 2023 is like I was trying to date here and there, but I ran into this thing, like we're getting real again, folks. Strap in. I'm sure this is super interesting to people.
Put on your it's getting real hat. Grab your celery stick and your orange soda. We're getting ready to go.
But what I realized was like, at least me right now, things could change in a few months. It could change within a year. Who knows? But at least me right now, I just like, I don't have the time to commit to someone. Um, Example was there was this girl I was talking to in the summertime and got along great. Like she was extremely sweet, extremely nice, uh, got along super great. And I slowed down on conversation towards the end. And it was kind of like I guess I subconsciously wanted to end it slowly, but it was also one of those things where I realized like I'm so busy with, because one, this was summertime, so that's like the busiest time of youth ministry basically, because all the kids are out of school, so it's just nonstop like camps and stuff like that, which I love. I absolutely love that stuff, as well as like comic stuff. Like I was working on that, all that sort of stuff, as well as family. Like I'll go ahead and say like end of 2022, first half of 2023 was not the best with family. So it was me kind of trying to patch some stuff. So all of that factored in, as well as like sometimes Brandon just needs me time. So you factor that in as well. I just didn't have time to like commit to someone. And eventually the person did message me. It was like, hey, like what's up? Like what's going on? Things seem different, that sort of thing. I basically laid it all out. I was like, it sounded like such the cliche thing. And I even like mentioned in the message thing, I was like, hey, like you've heard this in movies and stuff, but this is legit the truth. It's not you, it's me. Like I was like legit, like, don't take that as like, oh, but he actually means it's me. Like, no, it is legit me. Like you're a great person, but like I can't right now. And I didn't want to like string someone along with that, of them like couple months go by and like I'm still like not super committed to them with my time, to where I was like, it's probably best to just like stop. Like I'm sorry I'm this person, but now's not a good time.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that's what I realized with 2023 was like I tried dating a decent bit in 2023, but like did introspection, especially with that girl towards the end, that I was just like, I'm not ready to like dedicate that time, mostly because of all the stuff I have going on, but also like, I don't know, it's one of those things I have to work on, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. And towards the end of the year, I was also trying to put myself out there, and try to start dating. Um, Unfortunately, like I tried dating apps for the first time, and unfortunately, I have since learned that there is apparently a dating app culture. So that is,
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't do any research going in, so it's like it's not really worth all the strain that it takes just to meet someone. Plus, I started to realize like I don't really have that much time either. So it's like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like now is probably not a good time for me. Also, do you still have that girl's like phone number and know if she's available?
She probably doesn't want to talk to me. I think things ended okay. Like I like was scared of like ending things, but like I think, in all honesty, looking back 6 7 months ago, I think I did a great job of not being a douche about it. I think I was very respectable and everything, but obviously like
Listen,
she
babe,
was
you're
hurt. Like
suffocating me.
I completely understand. She was hurt. I felt hurt like having to like realize and kind of like end it before it dragged on and like she developed even more feelings. But she clearly had feelings because she was hurt. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if she'd if she'd want to talk to me.
Yeah, no. I was just, I was asking for a friend.
Yeah. No, but yeah, like the dating app things is interesting. Like that's actually how I came to know that girl. Like we talked for 2 or 3 months, like FaceTime, all that stuff. Met once. Um, but because like she lived like a couple hours away from me. It wasn't something I could just like every weekend go see her.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like aside from her and a couple other instances, dating apps are just like, I don't know. I can see benefit in them, but it's also like I think people become me as well. I did this as well. I'm not like berating or bashing other people. I'm also bashing myself here. People become so numb when it comes to dating apps. What I mean by that is like the culture of ghosting, for
Yeah.
example. I've done that. And I look back on it and I realize like that's that I don't know. Like it's expected. It's normal for dating apps, but it is also like that's like I don't know. It'd be
Yeah.
because the ghoster clearly doesn't have feelings for that person.
Yeah.
But that person might have feelings for the ghoster to where when they get ghosted, it does hurt for
Yeah.
at least a couple days or whatever. Um, but it's the norm. That's what's so weird about it.
You see, for me, like none of the interactions I ever had really went far enough that like ghosting would have been something that hurt.
Yeah, yeah.
There was maybe like one girl I talked to for a few days, and like I'm not gonna say it got serious or anything, but like I was, we were, I think, trying to make plans to meet. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to tell whether or not someone even is trying to meet with you too, because
Yeah, that's true.
because like, and getting someone to meet you is like the hard part. And
Yeah.
I understand people are wary of that sort of thing because catfishing is a thing, but still, it's like, yeah, it's not worth the effort it takes just to meet someone on the off chance that it turns into something. So
Yeah. No, and that's the thing is I think the majority of people think that way. And so that turns into what dating apps are now, which is most of the time there are outliers. Most of the time it is simply just like talking to someone like a companion type thing for a day, couple days, a week maybe, and then like okay, like that's it. I'm tired of this person or I got my fix, that sort of thing.
yeah,
Um, I mean, like I've been there before. Like the first year I used dating apps, I was serious. I was Mr. Serious about like, okay, I am actually looking for a significant other. After that, like, and I didn't use it like a lot, but after that, like, anytime that I used it for 4 or 5 years, it was very sporadic, like in terms of like the few days and then drop it for a few months, that sort of thing. For 4 or 5 years, it was literally just like me. I think I've mentioned this in Store Brand Comics. This was during that time, this 4 to 5 years, where like I was just like trying to make girls laugh. Like
yeah,
that was it. And once I got that, I was like, all right, I feel satisfied. I performed written stand up basically. I got
yeah,
them to laugh. Now it's like, all right, I'm checking out.
yeah, yeah. For me, it's just
it's too exhausting. And like I was taking it seriously, to start with.
Yeah.
Like for me though, I got fed up with it within a month.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. No, it makes sense.
because like it got to the point where like I was kind of starting to get depressed. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
because it's like, and not even that like I was super sad that nothing was happening. It's like I felt like I was banging my head against a brick wall, completely wasting my time on something
Exactly.
completely fruitless. And like
Yeah.
that's what was depressing me, the feeling of wasting my time.
Yeah. That's what it was for me. That I think it was first year or two I used it when I was like serious and trying to find a significant other. Like that's what it was like like there would be those like little like depression spells almost of like you said, like I feel like I am wasting my time, like my efforts in this, to where wasn't the best thing, but I maybe I still have a little bit of that mindset. That 4 to 5 years where I used it just simply to like tell jokes and make a girl laugh, like that felt satisfying to me.
Yeah.
Like I didn't feel like I was wasting time then because I was like, like I made someone laugh. Hopefully they didn't like whenever I didn't message back, or if they didn't message back, like hopefully no one was hurt. Hopefully it was simply just like we talked for 1 or 2 days. Uh, they laughed. We had the satisfaction of conversation, and then that was it. That sounds awful, but for 4 to 5 years, that was basically me with dating apps.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like within a month, I developed the mentality that even getting in contact with a girl who could hold a conversation was like finding a unicorn.
Oh yeah, that's impossible. like,
Like nobody knows how to hold a conversation on these
yeah.
stupid apps.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like you have to dig so hard to like press a topic or like keep talking, because it's like you ask a question and they give you an answer with like no avenues to like continue.
Yeah, it's either
there's
like
no natural flow to the conversation. You just got to keep coming up with stuff to say.
Exactly. It's either a couple word answer or a few word answer, or it could be a sentence or two, but like you said, it gives no avenue to continue the conversation. Yeah.
It's like they don't
That is the most frustrating
elaborate
thing.
on their answers at all.
Yeah, yeah. And like for some, you could say like maybe they're not as interested. I'm saying this in like my case. Like whenever I was on dating apps, like for some, maybe they just weren't that interested. But I know that some were interested. It just like they just, I don't know, haven't developed like conversation skills. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like to where it got like frustrating. It was like, like no one, I hope no one would be like this, but hopefully if I did go on a date with this girl, example girl, she isn't like this in real life.
Yeah.
So where like we're at Olive Garden or some bullcrap restaurant or whatever, and it's just like I say something and they're like, okay, yeah, haha. Like, okay, what I actually asked a question right there.
Yeah, like
it wasn't a yes or no question.
What is your favorite kind of music? Oh, country. Okay.
What are some of your favorite
artists? Yeah.
What are those artists?
Care to tell me which ones? Sure.
And then when they do finally spit it out, when it's like, oh, Taylor Swift, like one, I have nothing against Taylor Swift. That is a basic answer, though. I will say that.
Yeah.
But
and also, it's not country anymore.
True. Yeah. But let's say they say the answer. You're like, oh, okay, why do you, or not saying why do you like them? Like that's kind of a dumb question. for music, but like a question to like elaborate on
what's
the answer basically.
your favorite
It
Taylor
could
Swift
just
album? What's your favorite Taylor Swift song?
yeah, and a lot of times it could just be like
Have you ever seen her live?
oh, I just like them, or oh, like they're great, or whatever it may be, like that sort of stuff. And it's like, come on, like I'm pulling at teeth here, please.
I'm not asking you to write your thesis on a Taylor Swift song. I am just asking for like, just elaborate, please. Just give talk long enough for me to find something about you I can keep asking questions on. That's all I want.
This is another thing I I realized during that 4 to 5 years of me just doing like conversation and joke stuff on dating apps was yeah, I think I just like I didn't intentionally did this. I just noticed if like at least half the time I would just like take over, like I would just talk about myself or whatever, because I tried and tried getting them to talk and they're barely saying anything. So whenever they finally ask a question, I'm giving like not a paragraph or whatever that like that you can have too much stuff.
But you actually elaborate on your answers.
Exactly. To where it's like, okay, they're actually learning about me. They're actually learning about me. And maybe they see an example of like, hey, this is what I'm looking for from you, kind of.
This is how people interact. I know I'm trying not to be mean and jaded about it, but it's just so frustrating.
No, I get it. Yeah.
Because it's like you get all these like profile bios. They're just like, don't waste my time and have something more interesting to say than how are you or what are you doing right now, or like or some bios are just like, ask me, and they leave it at that. It's like, look, if you want me to be interesting, you got to be interesting.
Yeah.
Like,
I do want to
you need to have more to say than a potato.
Yeah, I do want to put a disclaimer here. If male or female, if you're listening, this isn't like bashing females, because I've talked to some females who have done dating apps before, like some female friends, and pretty much the stuff we're saying now, like a lot of it can translate to guys as well. So this isn't bashing females. This is just like dating apps in general.
This goes both ways. It's just for me,
I just don't want
my only experience obviously is with interacting with females, and then like I haven't really talked to anybody else I know who has used dating apps at length about this stuff. So
yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. If someone is like upset at anything we're saying, like no, like this is our experience, but like it's the dating app experience as a whole. Like this isn't just females, this is males as well. I've heard it both sides. So
I'm gonna be honest with you, I kind of forgot for a little bit that this was being recorded. It's kind of just because you know you and I have a very natural dynamic, and we always have. It just kind of felt like a phone call. So
yeah, but yeah, it's one of those things. And what's I was actually talking to someone about this. This is so weird. Like I haven't like tried dating in months. Like since that one girl, really. That's the last time I actually tried. But like I was talking to someone about this like 2 or 3 weeks ago, of how in the past, when I say in the past, I mean like 60s, 70s, 80s, there were places you could go as a young adult to meet other young adults and possibly date, marry, whatever it may be, whatever you're thinking about. Nowadays, like there's not really that. What I mean by that is like not saying this isn't innocent, but like more innocent places than us going to a bar.
Yeah.
Like that's basically it today, is like, oh, go to a bar. And that's the classic stereotypical TV show or movie thing. is,
Yeah.
oh, found the person at the bar. I'm nothing against people going to bars. It's just that's not my scene, as well as like, I don't know. I don't think I'd find my person at the bar.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. Like I'm not a bar guy, and I just and like bars are where you go for like my understanding of it is that a bar is where you go to just pick up someone for the night.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I don't like for me, I don't want to pick up someone for the night. I want to pick up someone for a while and see whether or not I want to pick her up for the rest of my life. So
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's the thing is like we don't really have those places
yeah.
anymore. Like because that's the thing is like some of these places, not saying this is specifically the place that all this happened, but let's say I honestly don't care to go to this. Let's say a roller rink, for example.
Yeah.
70s and 80s roller rink was a pop-in place. It was what was happening in terms of
Yeah,
finding.
all the daddy-os and hep cats and far out dudes would go there.
Right. And also it wasn't like just a children's thing. It was like adults went there.
Yeah.
Single adults went there, like with their friends and stuff.
With their bell-bottom
Today,
jeans.
today it's like it's kind of weird if you're an adult, especially if you go by yourself. Now, here's the thing. I'm not like bashing anyone. If you go and you're enjoying yourself on the roller rink, like that's awesome. Like that's awesome for you. But in terms of back then to now, it just looks kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I think it might just be like this cultural shift, though, that like social interaction with people you don't know is threatening on its face.
Yeah.
At this point, like
Yeah.
we're kind of at a point in our culture where like every single person you talk to that you don't know is a potential crazy person.
Yeah, that's true.
That like
As well as
the assumption isn't that you're talking to a regular human being anymore. The assumption is that you are talking to someone who could potentially decide to skin you.
yeah. That as well. I mean that is definitely a big one. but as well as like the needing to be like stimulated out of boredom in today's society. What I mean by this is like the number of people, I do this as well, who have an earbud in when they go into a grocery store or this place or that place, to where like you're already like tuning the world out right there. The number of people who are just focused on the like looking down at their phone when in open interaction, because that also tells other people like, oh, like I don't really, it's a subconscious thing, but it is telling other people that like, oh, like that person doesn't really want to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, and hey, here's the thing. I am kind of bashing it. Sometimes that is good. Sometimes I just don't want to talk to someone. And in the 70s or 80s, you didn't entirely have that type of stuff to show people that you don't want to talk to them. But I don't know. It's progressively becoming the society of like, be extreme cautious about everyone around you, as well as
remain
don't worry about stuff.
disconnected from the world around you.
Yeah, exactly. It's I don't know. It's sad to see, but
it's hard, dude.
Yeah.
And like some advice, I've heard some advice from some people, and it's like there are some people like, I don't know, just like talk to a girl and ask her out. It's like just pick a girl and talk to her and ask her out. That's not gonna work.
As well as like, I don't know, yeah, like I you see that in movies and stuff, especially where it's like and I don't know how prevalent this was in the 70s and 80s. I feel like this is something that was exaggerated from movies from the 70s and 80s
Yeah.
of random person. You saw them, maybe they look a little bit attractive, and then you're just like, you ask them out. My thing with that is like, and like, I think everyone kind of has this a little bit, is like, I don't know anything about this person. And I think it, now thinking about it, it does kind of lead into what you're talking about. Like, it sounds mean, but what if this lady is like, not, something's not right
Yeah.
in her head? And when I go out with her, it's going to be revealed. And it's this date, I'm just going to be slogging through it, or I'm just going to be like on the edge of my seat, like trying to get out of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's the desire to know, to, and I think that plays into the online dating culture of like, I want to know a lot about this person, or a decent bit about this person, before I step into a room with them.
Yeah.
So there you go, folks.
Yeah, that was
fun time.
How's that for a first episode? It got way too overly personal right off the bat. You can tell that this is just an extension of another thing at this point. But yeah.
Hey, it's called the Dismay. It's Dismay Comics Podcast, but Dismay.
Yeah. Dismay these nuts.
Oh, there we go. But yeah, I mean, like, it's just talking about life.
Yeah.
Like, that's we've been through it. Everyone's been through that sort of thing. If anyone's listening, you've related to something here. Because I've talked to a lot of people regarding this type of stuff, like counseling, not just like teens, but I'm talking about like young adults. And what I've heard from young adults is a lot what we've talked about.
Yeah.
But hey, AI's coming up. We're all going to have AI wives and husbands and all that. There you go, people.
One AI wife. I want someone real. I want someone to sit on the couch and watch cartoons with.
Oh, but
who also likes to touch me.
Bezos is going to make it to where no one desires that anymore.
I don't want Bezos to do that.
No, I completely agree with you.
Bezos really is our nemesis. He plans to do that. That's a part of what makes life is that desire for connection.
Yeah. But
yeah, I was having such a good year last year, dude. I was having such a good year last year, and then like the second half hit, and I started to feel lonely, and all of a sudden everything just felt like it didn't mean anything anymore.
I was feeling that, like, and I've gotten a lot better from this. But as soon as the Tales from Town City Kickstarter ended, I just felt like this wave of depression roll over.
Yeah.
Because I was filling my time and my energy and my space so much with the comic, like the Kickstarter and stuff, to where when it ended, I was just like, it was almost like I was like an addict or something. I was like, I gotta have the next book. I have to have the next, like, cause it was me trying to like fill a void. And it was just like this wave of depression that went over, of just like, oh my gosh, like the past couple months, I spent time with family, but I didn't spend a ton of energy on family. And then it was also like I spent so much time on the Kickstarter and like all that. And then when that high goes down, it literally was like a high. When that high goes down, it was just like this crash to where like at least for a couple weeks, if not a month, I was just like, like, what do I want to do? Like I had a period where I was like literally debating like should I even do comics anymore? Like legit. Like it was so weird.
Yeah.
But I mean like not saying that's like the first like depressive wave or anything, or that was like the last one I've had. Like I've definitely had one before, definitely in December. But like, yeah, it was just so weird. Like the last time I had something like that dealing with comics was around the time Gallows Man #1 was getting ready to come out. Because I remember at that time I was living in Montgomery, and also like I'm trying to remember exactly. That was the time where I had like horrible perfectionist stuff.
Oh yeah.
Where like I didn't even know when Gallows Man would actually come out because I was constantly critiquing and trying to perfect everything. Yeah, that was the last time I had like a major depressive wave when it came to comics. I think that's something like with anything in life, like you'll have with anything you care about in life to some degree, you'll have like periods where you realize like how important really is this, and am I becoming obsessive with this, or whatever it may be. And I've had that a couple times with comics. So I mean, like I've heard people talk about their love-hate relationship with comics. I definitely love comics more than I hate them. But I mean, like to say I just 100% love comics and have never had like an issue in terms of writing or making a comic, as well as like outside stuff also plays into that. Stuff that's going on in your life outside of comics plays into that. To say like I've never had a period where I hated what I was doing would be lying. But I don't know. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Sorry to take everyone down on this. Sorry to take everyone down. I guess that's the best way to put it with my talking.